Alrighty guys, just wanted to show you real quick how to set up a job with the VCarve Pro software. Makes it really easy to set up designs to be cut using CNC tools. So if you create a new file in VCarve, you're going to see something like this. That's a job setup. It's somewhere where you're going to be able to set the overall width and height of your job size. So if you're, for example, I'm going to put together a little sign here. If you're cutting out a sign, this would be like the overall size of your sign. And it also lets you specify the thickness of the thing that you're going to cut. If you're working with MDF or plywood, typically it's going to be around a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch. You will have to take a precise measurement when you go to actually cut your design, but for right now, let's just assume it's a 1/2 inch. The XY datum position, you can kind of think of that as the origin. That's going to be the starting point, the home position of the router bit. And I find it easiest to work from the bottom left-hand corner. Inches or millimeters, that's up to you. You can change the appearance, so if you know what you're working with. For example, if I'm cutting a sign out of MDF, maybe I'll set that to be MDF. Hit OK, save that, our job's set up. If you want to get back to the job setup, it's this little icon here. So I'm going to make a little sign here. The first thing I'm going to do is create a border for my sign. VCarve makes it real easy to draw basic shapes, lines, curves, splines. That kind of thing. So I'm going to start with a square. Let's say it's going to be anchored at the origin. Let's anchor that at 0, 0. That'll be the bottom left corner. I can set the width and height here. That's going to create a square. And I can click that. There's my square. And if you click again, it'll give you options for like moving your square around and resizing things manually. So that's pretty easy to use. Now, basic square, kind of boring. I want to fillet the edges. I want to round off the edges. So there's a fillet tool down here, and that's, again, pretty easy to use. I'm just going to click that corner, it's going to round that corner off. Now that's way bigger than I want it to be. Let me make that fillet a 1/4 inch. So if I go in and click that corner, that's going to do a 1/4 inch fillet. And I can go through and click all of these corners, and now I got a nice rounded off corner for my sign. All right. Next thing, I want to add some text to my sign. VCarve does make it pretty super easy to add text. I'm just going to click Draw Text. Let's see. And there are a ton of options for fonts and pretty much whatever you need for your text. I'm going to pick something obnoxious. How about that? Bold, italic. Pretty much all the options you have when working with text in general. So I'm going to add that to my sign. That's way too big. So I'm just going to click, and rather than messing around with the anchor points and the text height, I'm going to resize this manually. So let me move it kind of in the middle, shrink things down. So that fits inside my sign. All right. And let's add a little shape. So let's add a triangle. There we go. So there are also other tools. There's other options to transform objects, so your basic geometric transformations. So you can move stuff, scale the size. So those are the buttons that would let you do those things. You can also rotate, reflect, and distort your objects using kind of these anchor points here. Pretty easy tools to use. If you got things that go together, there's options to group things together. And there's a few more advanced tools down here. So that's kind of the basics of creating basic shapes and text in VCarve. If you check out the next video, I'll have some resources for actually setting up those tool paths and cutting things out of your CNC router.